This is the Fredericksburg Neighbors Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Dory Stewart.
Welcome to another episode of the Fredericksburg Neighbors Podcast. Today we have a fantastic neighbor to introduce you to. Shane Heath is the owner of Battlefield Decks and Patios. Shane, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thanks, Dory. Thanks for having me on here.
Thank you for joining me. So let's start off by sharing with the listeners a little bit about your business.
Yeah, so I'm a deck, patio, porch, and pool builder here in the Northern Virginia area. We're located out of Gainesville, and I've been in the area my whole life pretty much. Born and raised in Falls Church, Virginia, just outside of D.C., and just grew up in a family of carpenters and contractors, and here I am just doing my own thing now and having a lot of fun doing it.
That's amazing. So my next question was going to be, how did you get into this? So you kind of grew up in the business. So tell us, what are all of the services that you offer? I mean, obviously decks and patios, but I know you offer a lot more than that.
Yeah, so pretty much all things outdoor living. So that's decks, patios, porches, pools. We do hardscapes, retaining walls, walkways around houses. Basically, that pretty much sums it all up. I mean, if anything that you see in a magazine that looks like a beautiful outdoor space, we build it.
Awesome. And I have seen lots of pictures and before and afters of your work, and it is stunning. It's beautiful. Yeah, every time I look at your work, I have ideas of everything I want to do around my own house.
Yeah.
Awesome. So what are some things that maybe myths or misconceptions that people have around your industry?
Myths and misconceptions. It's funny you asked that question. I would honestly say one of the biggest probably myths or misconceptions is that you should just trust any old person with your money and hand them a blank check or a deposit check. This is kind of an issue that we kind of tackle head on in our company, and that we've created a lot of content, useful checklists and stuff for people to avoid really getting taken by nefarious contractors. Growing up in this business, it's crazy to me at my age that we still see multiple jobs a year that we go to where they've been abandoned, where people have given somebody a deposit that they felt was trustworthy, that had done work for a friend or done work for several people in the neighborhood, and they just didn't do any research to find out the legitimacy of the contractor and end up just getting burned thousands of dollars. And to me, it's wild that it happens, especially the day and age that we live in with technology and answers so readily accessible. The contracting world still is kind of like the Wild West in that there's still a lot of deals that are just made on a handshake. And so it blows me away sometimes that people will just hand over a check for thousands of dollars to somebody that they don't know, and they've done zero research on their reputation. We've one of the resources that we have made is a checklist to kind of vet contractors to make sure they're licensed, to make sure they're insured, to do some basic background checking, and with the links to the state websites that help verify those really quickly. And we educate people, the kind of questions to ask contractors when they're getting bids so that they can get the information that they need. Number one, insurance and license. Most people, surprisingly, don't even follow through to check or verify that somebody is licensed or insured. They will just ask, "Hey, are you licensed and insured?" And everybody goes, "Oh, yes, of course we are." And that's where the conversation ends.
Wow.
So it's just, I would say that's probably one of the weirdest myths and misconceptions, that you should just trust anybody because they did work in your neighborhood or a friend referred them. I always tell people, man, it doesn't matter how many jobs they built in your neighborhood. Like, just do a quick Google search and see what's actually out there on their digital footprint.
Yeah. Well, thank you for taking the time and the thought to educate your customers, whether they end up working with you or not. You're doing a
Yeah.
great service by educating people, you know.
Yeah. It's horrible. It's like nothing is worse than like showing up to give somebody an estimate and seeing a job that's, it's not even a quarter built. We're talking a lot of times we'll go to a job that's like there's a bunch of holes in a pile of gravel.
Oh my gosh.
And they've given somebody a check for a $20,000 deposit and the person's gone, so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. When I used to do a lot of interior work before we shifted to just specializing on exterior work,
Mm-hmm.
it would be like you'd go in and there'd be a bathroom that was totally gutted. And maybe there was a couple pieces of drywall that had been hung, and that's where the job stopped. And so somebody would be sitting there with their master bathroom completely torn apart, out thousands of dollars, and no hope in sight to get it finished. So
it would just be abandoned.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah,
That's
it's more common than what people talk about, and I wonder sometimes if some people are just so embarrassed that it's happened to them that they just don't talk about it. So it just seems to be one of those things that it's not common in our industry for most people to actually properly vet and actually see if the license is legitimate and who the license is made out to, and get a certificate of insurance. And I think people are just really trusting and they feel awkward when they ask this question. So we always tell people, hey, like, ask for the license number, ask for a certificate of insurance, do some research online. Like before we even meet with somebody, they're getting an email with all that information so that they can properly vet us before we even show up for the estimate.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
You clearly have a lot of integrity and care for your customers. So that's awesome. I applaud you for that.
You kind of have to if you want to stick around.
Yeah. Well, and you've been around a long time, so you're doing all the right things. So I am looking at your background and I see some music equipment. So my next question is, when you're not working hard on the business, what are you doing for fun? I have a feeling I know.
Oh man, I wish I was spending more time in this room playing with all the fun stuff I have in here. What you can't see is all the stuff that's in front of me, and my work office is also dubbed as a music practice room and a recording studio.
That's awesome.
So we're a musical family. I've been playing guitar since I was 9 years old, and I have a son right now who plays saxophone and studies jazz and is just in this room probably more than I am, just practicing. So we're always it's always loud and noisy around here.
That's so cool. I love it. I love that it's a family of musicians. That's awesome.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun.
That's awesome. I love that. So can you describe a hardship or a challenge that you have gone through and rose above, and that now you can say that you're better for it or stronger for it?
Oh man.
We're getting deep.
That's a long. I mean, how much time do you have? I probably got 50 of them for you.
Right. Most of us do.
I would say probably most recently that probably resonates with everybody is probably the all the stuff that we went through during COVID. It was just a really weird time for business, and at that time, we were still doing interior work. So we're still doing a lot of kitchens, baths, basements, additions, along with the decks, patios, porches, and so forth. And we quickly, everything shut down, and all of a sudden resources became unavailable. Everybody wanted their deposits back. So we had dozens of customers who went into panic mode, and we were just throwing money back at everybody and going, well, now our calendar's about empty. And if we ever do get back to work, what's that going to look like? And thankfully things turned around relatively quickly. But what we found when the world came back online is that now all of a sudden people that we had in the middle of production had all of a sudden their orders on their cabinetry and things like that, and custom finishes and fixtures. All of a sudden we started getting notifications like, hey, we're going to probably be a month before that gets delivered. And that turned into, it's going to be 2 months to, it's going to be 6 months to, it's going to be not like, we got to a point where we were on one job. It was a kitchen remodel, and they just kept getting backed up. It took them almost a year to get their cabinets to finish their kitchen remodel. Yeah, it was Yeah, that was a painful one. But, thankfully we had really awesome customers and they were understanding. Like they understood what was going on at the time. And really it was just a matter of, it's kind of funny, like the old saying that big wheels take a long time to get turning. And once they get turning, you don't want to stop them. Right. And so it took a while to get the world turning again and getting production back up to where it was. And, interestingly, we were so used to being able to get whatever we wanted the next day or within, 5 business days. And then to go to that. And we still, in some ways, there's still some things that have kind of changed when it comes to ordering certain custom finishes and custom materials that, lead times can still be longer. They're not what they were then, where, 6 months, but in some respects, I still feel like we've never really got 100% back to normal in that regards.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, congratulations to you for getting through that. And now I imagine, have the confidence that if there is, an economic downturn or something like that, you'll get through it.
And that was the big learning lesson for me during that season, is that the exterior work didn't stop. And that was kind of like that was kind of like the saving thing for us. And so at that point we niched down and said, let's just solely focus on outdoor living. And if the world ever comes off the rails again, at least we can still all be gainfully employed.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the hope. That's the hope.
Very smart. Very smart. So what is something that you wish people knew about your business?
I would say pools. We just started offering concrete pools in the last year. And so we are chomping at the bit, ready to build as many as we get thrown at us. So we have a couple in cycle right now, and they're really cool. They're a lot of fun to build, and they're beautiful projects. Apparently there's not a huge market of good concrete pool builders in our area. There's a lot of fiberglass and a lot of, vinyl liner pool builders, but only a handful of, what it sounds like a really good custom concrete pool builders. And we're one of them, and we enjoy doing it. So if you're looking for a really nice, expensive pool, give us a call. We're your company.
Yeah. Well, that leads right into my next question, which is, if, the listeners are interested in connecting with you, learning more about you, or learning from you, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Yeah. Our website, battlefielddex.com.
Awesome.
You can get on our website and contact us right away. We actually have a really cool project calculator that me and my team spent the better part of 6 to 9 months developing for people to get accurate and fast quotes on decks, patios, and porches.
That's very cool. I love that feature. I was admiring that on your website, and I thought that's a really cool thing that no one else is doing. So
yeah, it's been a slam dunk for us, and it's really helped people. A lot of people come into this not knowing what something's going to cost and not knowing what their budget is. So I think it really helps people speed up that process.
Yeah. Well, Shane, I appreciate your sponsorship in Stafford Living Magazine, and I appreciate you joining me on the podcast. Do you have anything else that you would like to share with the listeners before we go?
No, nothing I can think of. Hey, if you need some outdoor living stuff, treat yourself. Get what you want.
All right. I love it. Perfect closing words. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for joining me and sharing your business with us.
All right. Thank you, Dory.
Thank you for listening to the Fredericksburg Neighbors Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to fxbgneighborspodcast.com. That's fxbgneighborspodcast.com or call 540-534-4618.